Hello and welcome to the Sewing Studio. Today I'm going to show you how to make this big quilted bag that you can take along to your quilt group for your show and tell. Now this bag, I've actually got 3 quilts inside here. You could put more in it. You could make it as big or as small as you want. The principle of making the bag is exactly the same. So I've used jelly roll strips for this one, and I've used Tula Pink Daydreamer range, and I've used the fabric that changes colour off the roll for the handles. But you could make this out of scraps, you could make it out of a scrap bag, or you could make it out of a quilt top that you've put together and you really don't like as a quilt. You can turn it into a bag. So I'm going to show you how. So the first thing you're going to need are some strips. So I'm just going to move this and clear some space. So the first thing you're going to need is an assortment of strips, whether they are from a scrap bag, a jelly roll, or just from your scrap box. And you are going to join them together to the size that you want. So I'm just going to go over to the machine and I'm going to join these strips. Before I do that, if you like what we do, don't forget to like and subscribe. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram and TikTok. So I'm just going to join all these up in any order, it doesn't really matter. Right sides together, and I'm going to use a 1/4 inch seam. So I'm just going to press this piece now, and you press all of your seams going in the same direction. So just press them flat, all going in the same direction. Because we've got no matching up or anything, this is literally just our quilt top. And you would make it bigger than this, but I'm just giving you an idea of the process. So you would just keep sewing until you'd got a piece the size that you wanted. And then the next thing you'd do is you would take a piece of wadding, and I've already got a piece of wadding here, which I've put calico onto the back of. So you would take your chosen size. So let's say this is roughly the size bag I want, and this end is all going to be drawn up. So what I would do is I'd put my calico or my plain cotton on the back, and then I would lay my strips on to my piece of wadding. And what you need to do is you need to make sure that your quilt hangs over the edge of the wadding by at least 1.5 to 2 inches. And then I would secure this to my wadding by quilting. So on the bag that I've got here, I have done, I'll just show you, I have done some quilting about 1/4 inch away from my seams, and so I've done that to secure it to the wadding. When it's all secured and quilted, you've got all of this covered and you've quilted it all, the next thing you're going to do is you're just going to hem the top. So you're just going to fold over the top and you're going to hem that. So I'm just going to pop a pin in there, and you're going to do that on the top and bottom of your quilt, because imagine that this is now quilted. So we're just going to run a stitch line along there, and you can do it a lot neater than that. You can turn it over twice. If you're turning it over twice, just cut your wadding back so that you haven't got too much bulk there. So you do that top and bottom. And then to make your pocket for your drawstring, what you need to do is you need to turn this over. So put a tiny hem, and it's probably easier if you press it in place. So I'm going to fold that over like that and give that a bit of a press. And then press a little hem so that as I'm coming over, I'm leaving the pocket. I'm going to come back to this camera here to try and show you what I mean, because this is where we put our threads. So, not quite sure where it is. I think it's about here. So I'm just tucking that in and I'm leaving a pocket here. The thing to remember as well is to do your top hem first, because you actually need that gap to thread your cord through. So don't do this bit first and then do your top hem and your bottom hem for your bag. Turn this over after you've done your hem. And then you would just machine this down, and you would need a walking foot for this because of the bulk. And you would do that all the way down. So you've got this pocket here, which is where your cord goes. So we'll now go back to the bag and I'll show you what I mean. I'm just going to take these quilts out. As I say, there's 3 in there and I've probably got room for more. We'll take these out and then I can show you what I mean on the bag. So you can see here how I've done my hem, and you can see here how I've put my cord through. So you could, if you wanted to, put a toggle on the end of this cord. And I've put a lovely big knot in it, so I'm struggling to get that undone now. So you can see here how the cord has gone through, and all I did was I attached it with a safety pin and I threaded it all the way through. Now you could use, I'm just trying to find one, I had one here. You could use these little toggles if you want to secure your cord. I've just tied mine for the purposes of today. So that's the end of your bag, and you do that with both ends. Before you do that, however, what I should have told you is to put the handles on. So if I open this up, you'll be able to see how the handles have been attached. I think this is why I didn't put the toggle on, because I wanted to show you how the handles were attached. So before you join it up, you can see here that the handles go all the way from underneath the quilt up the quilt. So I've got that at either end. So I'll just show you that in a close-up on the other one that I've been making. So if you remember, that's your top edge of your quilt, and then this is your pocket for your thread. Your handles are going to go up the quilt like this. So my handle is literally just a piece of fabric with some wadding inside, and then you would do this and join them together onto your quilt. You would sew it. Again, you'd need a walking foot because of the bulk that you're going through to attach your handles in that way. So we'll just come back to the other one. So again, you can make your handles as long as you want. If you want just handles, or if you want handles to go over your shoulder, which is what I've done, I've made them longer. So these were, each handle was the width of a bolt, doubled for each handle. I measured them at 6 inches, and then I folded the fabric around some wadding, and then I machined them down. And then you just draw your drawstrings together to make it as big as you want or as small as you want, depending on how many quilts you're taking to your quilt show. If you wanted to, you could put poppers on it as well. I haven't put poppers on mine because I think, again, that restricts the size. So I'm just tying this up. If I wanted to put poppers on, I could just sew the poppers there at the handle, one in the middle, another one at the handle. But as I say, I'm going to leave mine because I want a nice big roomy bag. So I'm just going to put my quilts back in there. As I say, this size, probably I could get 4 quilts, maybe 5. And there you have your quilt bag to go off to show and tell. So as always, have fun, make it your own, and I look forward to seeing you next time here in the sewing studio.